Numberology, making sense with nonsense. Sometimes we have questions which look very weird, or points which we need to remember which are very weird. Like, for example, who the hell can remember these things? Is the thought which comes when we see facts like this, right? What chromosome is linked with Friedreich's ataxia? Tauopathy is linked with which chromosome? These kind of questions always are points where we wonder how can we remember these stuff. This is where you could use numberology. What is numberology? Making weird connections in order to remember some important facts. So let me give some weird connections which we can make. Friedreich's ataxia. If you take this word, how do we want to remember the chromosome linked with Friedreich's ataxia? Let's take the first word and subtract the second word from it. You remember the flames game we used to play where we used to cancel all the common letters, right? If you do something like that, so if you take Friedreich's ataxia and subtract ataxia from that, what will happen is the I, which is a common letter in Friedreich's, will get cancelled. Once that cancelled, what remains here is, if you see the rest of the letters in Friedreich's, right? Let's count it up. If you count it up, you actually get about 9 alphabets, which is nothing but chromosome 9. So chromosome 9 is linked with Friedreich's ataxia. That's a point for us to learn here. This is numberology in action. Let me give another example. Imagine we have to remember apolipoprotein E4. And what is linked with apolipoprotein E4? Easy. Alphabet A is the first alphabet. Let's value it as number 1. Alphabet E is the fifth alphabet. Let's number it as 5. Right? Then 4 is the last number which is given in the whole apolipoprotein E4. So 5 plus 4 is equal to 9. With this learning, what happens is A will remind you it is 1. E4, that is 5 plus 4, will make you remember 9. So totally it is chromosome 19 which is apolipoprotein E4 linked with. So this is a way you could do weird connections and use numberology tactics to kind of remember points. If you are not convinced, let me give a few more examples. Tauopathy is linked to which chromosome do you think? If you don't know, you'll learn it in a few seconds. If you take the word tauopathy, can you see the straight line there in T, which makes you remember 1? Can you also see the 7 kind of shape there in T, which makes you remember 7? So 1 and 7, it is chromosome 17, which is linked with tauopathy. I think you would never ever forget it, right? So that's how numberology can be created and you can remember weird facts. Wilson's disease. A lot of you might know. If you do not know which is the chromosome which is linked with Wilson's disease, it's easy to remember. 13 is considered as an unlucky number, right? Many people believe 13 is an unlucky number. If you go to many hotels, the 13th floor is named as a different floor number, or many hotels will not have room number 13 in them, if you notice. So 13 is world over considered by many as unlucky. Now, that unlucky number can make you remember Wilson's disease because it's chromosome 13 which is linked with Wilson's disease. So if you're not convinced with numberology examples, let me give a few more. HLA is linked to. Now, HLA is linked to which chromosome? You have any idea? If you don't have, you'll learn it now. 1, 2, 3. 3 alphabets are there in HLA, right? Now, let's take that 3 and multiply it by 2. What you get is 6. So, it is chromosome 6 which is linked with HLA, human leukocyte antigen. So, that's an easy way to remember by making weird connections and remembering some facts. Chromosome 6, HLA. Cystic fibrosis. One last example to emphasize the fact of numberology. Cystic fibrosis is linked to which chromosome, by the way? Any idea? A lot of you might not know it, but in a few seconds, you will never ever forget it. If you count C, Y, S alphabets 1, 2, 3 like that, totally there are 14 alphabets in cystic fibrosis. Now, 14 divided by 2 is how much? 7. So, what is the chromosome which is linked with cystic fibrosis? It's chromosome 7. So, making weird connections will never make you forget these facts. Like this, I've given a few examples. I'm sure you can make many, many more examples like this. That is the power of numberology when you're trying to kind of code and teach your brain how to remember things. Let me tell you one important point here. It's a very legal way of cheating because in your MCQ or in your essay exams, they will give these words. So when you have coded your learning points through those words, see, for example, the moment you see the word tawopati, the T will make you remember exactly 1 and is 7. So the vision can be linked to those words, by which you are actually legally cheating yourself. So that is what is the power of numerology. So use numerology, make weird connections, make sense with nonsense.